Welcome to this podcast created by Newcastle University Business School, or NUBS for short. The Oxford Dictionary states that the nub of something is the central or essential point of a situation or problem. So we hope that in this series we can help you to get to the nubs of it. This podcast series looks at a key theme of value, the value of our creative economy, the value of our student experience, the value of our research, the value of our collaborative networks. In this series, you will meet academics, alumni, students, graduates, and professional staff of Newcastle University Business School as they talk about what value means to them. In this episode, join your host, Jennifer Simpson, careers consultant at Newcastle University Business School, as she discusses careers and employability, the student experience, with guests Jean and Roshni Pole.
Right, well, thank you for joining us this morning. My name's Jen Simpson and I'm a careers consultant at Newcastle University Business School, and I predominantly work with postgraduate students, and I'm very lucky today to be joined by Roshni and Jackson, who are two of our current PGT students. Roshni, do you want to introduce yourself really quickly?
Yeah, I'm Roshni Pole. I'm currently a postgrad student with the Global Human Resource Management program. I was born and raised in the United States, but just recently moved to Newcastle and definitely loving it.
Fantastic. And how about you, Jackson?
I'm Jackson, and I'm from Taiwan actually, but I went to college in mainland China, and I'm currently doing MSc in e-marketing right now at Newcastle University.
Fantastic. Thanks very much for joining. We're going to talk a little bit this morning about your journey here to Newcastle and your experience being international students in our fantastic city, and your plans for the future a little bit. So let me start with you, Jackson.
Yeah,
how did your journey to Newcastle begin? What made you approach the postgraduate degree that you're on, and why Newcastle in particular?
For the Newcastle, I actually love the compactness of the city. It's not that hustle like big cities like London, but it has its all convenience and everything you can get around the city that easily and convenient. And like for the study, I'm really interested in things related to IT and information system. And I found that e-marketing is a really suitable degree for me. That's why I chose Newcastle University.
Fantastic. And I'm glad you've picked up on the fact that it's such a compact city. You can walk across it within sort of 10, 15 minutes or so, which shocked me greatly when I went away to university and the size of other cities. How about you, Roshni? What was it about Newcastle?
Yeah, similar reasons. And definitely because I was moving from the States to a new culture, new place. I wanted somewhere that was compact, easy to transition into, something that wouldn't be almost shocking, and Newcastle was just so welcoming. The people here are extremely friendly. If you go anywhere, they ask you how you are, and they're just very warm and welcoming. Really easy to get anything you need. And then the university also is so accommodating, and anything you need, they show you that they want to help you, which was really comforting, especially when you're moving from across the ocean.
Absolutely. I am full of admiration. I can't imagine, studying at a postgraduate degree at that level and moving at the same time, and then studying in a second or sometimes a third language. It's a massive leap to make. So let me ask you, how did you find the jump from undergraduate study to postgraduate study? Has it been a big leap for you?
Yeah, there's like a lot of differences between them, and like for me, because my mother tongue is Chinese Mandarin, and so speaking English in classes and like to talk, chat with people, it's actually pretty difficult and challenging for me at first, but then I found that people are really friendly and nice, especially to international students. And we got a lot of support, like language support, writing support, to help us enhance our English skills. And in terms of the learning, the main difference between undergrad and postgrad is that we got to do a lot of independent studying. So we need to spend a lot of time doing our own research, reading and writing essays. And that's something that I'm keep honing and enhancing this kind of skills.
Yeah, absolutely. So you're not expected, there's a lot of self-guided study. How did you find the leap in that self-guided element?
Definitely very self-guided. I had to take ownership of most of my work. There wasn't anyone to remind me about anything, especially in the UK. The assessment style within my program as well is all at the end. In the US, you'll get assessed, and those scores you had throughout the year would then calculate to a final score. But I found in the UK, it's often just a final assessment, which can be daunting, especially if you're not on top of it. So it forces you to be on top of it. But the university also is aware of this, and they offered me support just understanding assessments. My personal tutor and my seminar leaders also would have drop-in sessions where I could ask them questions about the assessment. So I never felt alone or almost in the dark. Even though it was my first time doing a cumulative assessment like this, especially at a postgraduate level, it was nice to know if I had questions, they weren't going to just leave me on my own there.
Yeah, absolutely. Because working with ambiguity, it's those grey areas, isn't it? Not being 100% sure about what's being expected of you or what you're expected to deliver. Are you on the right track with things?
Yeah.
It can be really stressful and quite isolating, especially in the, not wanting to dwell on it, but in the last 12 months we've had as well. So it's good to hear that there's always been somebody you can speak to about that. So let me ask you a little bit about your experience within the school. Obviously, we've had a range of different events. We've tried to, keep a fairly packed schedule of engagement opportunities. Has there been anything in particular that's stood out to you, Jackson? Coming to you first.
Yeah, so I actually use a lot of service from our career service team and also startup team because I'm really interested in entrepreneurship and startup stuff like that. And we got a course called Digital Startup with Lean Innovation, and the module leader will always ask us to refer to the startup team, the career service we have in our business school. And that's really helpful and supportive to get a lot of resources and a lot of webinars for me to learn more deeper skills related to that subject. So that's really helpful for me, I would say.
Yeah. The startup team are amazing. And the amount of resources that they have. And what I really like about them is that they meet you where you are with your business idea. I think there's sometimes a misconception that you have to have a fully formed idea about what your business could be. But, just that spark of an idea is enough to kind of get you involved with them and get some guidance and support on that.
We're third in the UK for new graduate startups.
What sort of stage are you at? Are you pursuing?
Yeah, I'm actually interested in being a freelancer and starting my own content creation related and stuff. And I'm just actually starting and start brainstorming my ideas, and because I got several ideas, but I'm not sure which one is the best one to pursue. So I'm actually seeking advice about that, and also consuming a lot of resources related to that provided by the startup team. So that's really helpful, and I'm still searching for which is the best one.
Fantastic. Oh, I'm glad that you're really involved with them. You're in really good hands.
Thank you.
And how about you, Roshni? Has there been any sort of events or any opportunities to engage that have been particularly valuable to you?
Yeah, the brilliant thing about the business school is that they find really interesting people to host events for the students, and they're accessible, especially because they're online. You could drop in at any time. And one of the most meaningful ones I attended was based around networking, and she was extremely interactive. She had people participate and give their own elevator pitches on how they would network with someone. And I found it to just be a pertinent part on how I continued career searching, because I started to understand I don't have to be shy if I'm cold emailing people that I want to work with or get information with. And since then, I've had a ton of just informational interviews with different people who work in different industries. If I just wanted to learn more about a certain type of company or a just skill set or someone's journey towards their own career right now, it's like a way of doing an internship without having to put in months of shadowing work. It was a great way to just learn and get information. And especially if you don't really know what you want to do, it was the best way to figure out almost where you want to proceed with your career search.
Newcastle University has an award-winning career service.
I think you've hit on something really interesting. People have a general idea, a couple of options that they think they might want to pursue, but it can be quite daunting, especially if you're new to the area. And how on earth do you begin to map that? So can I ask you a little bit about your personal journey, whereabouts you are in terms of that?
Yeah, so like I said, I'm in the Global Human Resource Management program, and human resources is interesting because within that knowledge base, you can do a lot of different things. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to do consulting or if I wanted to be an HR practitioner or then even go more into people science, which is what my undergrad degree was in, and do more data and analytics. So I had a lot of options, and it is scary when you see all these job positions open and you don't even know if it's going to fit you. So I was able to explore software companies that exist in Newcastle and also consulting firms. And I was able to hone in on the size of a company I want, honestly, even what kind of salary or benefits or employee bonuses that I would want for myself. And I got into a position where instead of settling for whatever opportunity came, I was able to choose the opportunity that fit me. And it's a really powerful position to be in. I find that a lot of students sometimes are, whatever job appears, hopefully I'll get it and I'll take it. And the career service, I remember I mentioned that to them and they were like, no, you can have power over your first position. You don't have to just take whatever you take. And it was honestly great. And I'm in the works with some things. I won't say too much, but it was because I just wasn't shy. I just reached out to people, told them who I was. And I think when someone is open like that and is willing to share their interests, people will respond to it.
100%. And it can take a long time to get to that position. Some people kind of grasp that really quickly. Other people, it takes a little bit more time to understand that. But yeah, reaching out to people, as you say, it's a friendly area. So 9 times out of 10, there is a conversation to be had, definitely. And congratulations on both of your progression. That's amazing to hear.
Thank you.
Are you both thinking about staying in the Northeast after graduation?
I'm actually thinking about going back to China, and because my family is all over there, and there's also a lot of opportunities. And actually, I've attended several seminars related to how to get a job back in China, because our career service has a program, I think it's called China Career Gateway, that is especially tailored to students coming from China and want to get jobs back at their homeland. So they provide a lot of resources, like how to write a perfect CV, a perfect resume to apply for jobs there, and how to do your best interviews, and where you can get those vacancies, the information of those vacancies. So it's really helpful. And also I'm grateful that the career service team provide this kind of service for us, and so that we can get more information about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a huge community, and it's really important that we kind of harness that and keep in touch with everybody as well. The world is big, but it's also very small, so it's good to be able to keep in contact with everybody. And how about yourself, Roshni? Is it the Northeast or?
Yeah, I'll definitely be staying in the Newcastle area for the next year at least. And then after that, I think I'll maybe explore going to the South, maybe London or the Oxford or Cambridge area. I am curious about the South a little bit, as much as I love the Northeast. And then luckily, the UK released a 2-year graduate visa, so I wouldn't have to scramble to find someone to sponsor me immediately. So I have more time to just find what works for me and see how things go.
That's fantastic. And you've hit upon, one of my mantras when I talk to students is that it has to work for you, whatever happens. It doesn't have to be the be all and end all, and you don't have to have your career figured out for the rest of your life, but just in that 12 to 18 month window, it's about making sure it works for you. And I guess, life changes within that time as well. So, you can figure it out from there. But that's fantastic to hear. I'm so pleased that you're going to be staying in the Northeast and it's not too cold for you, especially at the moment.
Yeah, definitely.
So I guess we've hit on all of the exciting positives of being an international student in Newcastle and all the support that you've had. But I guess, it can be a struggle. It can be, you are stepping into a whole new world of learning, a whole new cultural environment. So let me ask you a little bit about, has there been any particular challenges that you've had to overcome?
There has been a little bit of a cultural shock. Even as an American, you may think, oh, it's somewhat similar, but UK culture is really different to American culture. Even just sometimes the way I hold myself or the way I say things is different just to what English people are used to. It's not a bad thing. It is a shock. And anywhere you move, it's going to be different. But like I said, Newcastle is like the easiest place for me to settle into. People are really friendly. It may be different, and sometimes I don't understand the Geordie accent, but I did experience a transition period. But, as every day goes on, I learn something new. I learn more about myself. It gets easier.
That's fantastic to hear, and I'm really pleased the accent hasn't completely bamboozled you. How about you, Jackson? Any particular challenges?
Yeah, so for me, I think definitely will be related to language, because I need to, I have heard a lot of things related to so many dialects and jargons that I don't understand, and especially the dialect stuff, and also the accent, because the accent is something that I'm really struggling at the beginning. But after a couple of months, I started to get used to these kind of accent, no matter it's a Geordie dialect or even the entire British accent, because that's something I need to get used to. And also, other than that, I think the weather in the winter is really something I have to bear with, because it's really chilled and cold, and also moist in the winter. But I'm come from the place that is always hot and a little bit dry, so it's something I have to bear with. But the summer is really nice here, so I really like the summer and the spring here.
Yeah, one thing about us British, we will moan about it being too cold, and then as soon as it gets hot, we'll moan about it being too hot as well. That's a big thing in Britain, I think, all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's fantastic to hear. And in terms of the city itself, any top tips for anyone listening in terms of the city? Any particular favourite places?
Definitely just don't be afraid to go into somewhere new. If you see something that interests you, whether it be like a restaurant or a store, just go inside. They're probably going to want you to come inside anyway, but that's how you find your favorite places. And that's how I just found my favorite little stores or florists or cafes. And there's a lot of small businesses in Newcastle as well. And it's really nice knowing that you're supporting the local people. And it's like the people here and the businesses here are so lovely. It feels good to support them.
Oh, excellent. How about you, Jackson?
Yeah, so in terms of the Newcastle city, I really like the Tynemouth and the quayside, because they have beautiful waters, and I love to take the photographs and also use my drones to take amazing aerial pictures. And I found these two places are the best that I can get a lot of amazing images. Yeah. So, and in terms of the city, I really like every shop is compacted in near the Eldon Square or the Northumberland Street, so you can get anything you want just by food, and that is really convenient.
It is ideal if you're running late, Newcastle. You'll never starve, and you can always grab something to eat pretty quickly on your way to anywhere, can't you?
Yeah, there's a Greg's on every corner.
With the vegan sausage rolls as well.
Oh, yeah.
So I guess just to wrap things up, thank you very much to both of you for those insights. I hope they've been really useful to anyone listening in. But any kind of final top tips for anyone who's maybe considering coming to do postgraduate study at Newcastle?
It's going to be the best way you could challenge yourself and evolve yourself. It's going to be a challenge, and you're going to test yourself in new ways. But when you're done, the payoff is extremely rewarding.
Fantastic. And how about you, Jackson?
Yeah, I would say try to get as many resources you can from the school, from the university, because they're really helpful and supportive, and you can get as many resources you want if you ask them, and they'll provide you to help you no matter to achieve your academic goals or your career goals.
Yeah, and I should say as well, a little sales pitch, that you have access to the career service for up to 3 years after you graduate. And then obviously there's a whole load of support as a part of our alumni community as well. Mm-hmm. So we don't let you go easily. But thank you so much both for talking us through that. It's been really fantastic to hear more, and I'm so pleased you've enjoyed your time at Newcastle, and long may it continue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening. We'd love to hear your feedback. You can drop us a line at nubspodcast@newcastle.ac.uk. And you can also tag us in any of our Newcastle University Business School social media channels. You can find these links in our show notes. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share with your friends. This podcast has been brought to you by Newcastle University Business School. Your host has been Jennifer Simpson, with executive production by Ashley King, photography by Paul Scurra of That Branding Company and Blind Sea Photo, production by Alice Smith and Tim Lazinski at TL Multimedia Limited.